Yes, lads, hello and welcome to the SpursRelated YouTube channel. I hope we're all doing well. Hope we're staying safe out there. And yeah, it's a bit of a heat wave over in the UK. Not that anyone came to this channel to talk about weather, but you know, I like to mix it up from time to time. So yeah, the weather's quite hot. It's been about 28 degrees in London. But anyway, back to football, and it's all kicking off. Fixtures have been announced. Bissouma has done his medical. He is a Tottenham player. No bottling it like Andre said we could do, and some of the chat weren't too confident. He is a Spurs player, and I am absolutely buzzing, and I'm sure my co-hosts are as well. We'll go over to Jack. Jack, welcome on in, mate. How you doing?
Brilliant. Much happier now. Bissouma looks like he's signed on the dotted line, so looks like we've got this one over the line.
Absolutely love it. And Andre, how you doing, mate?
Well, I'm doing well. You know, not that many news per se, but the two that have come out are really, really big.
Exactly that. And I'm sure we'll get into the two talking points today. Obviously, Bissouma and all the details with the deal, and of course, those fixtures, and maybe to have a little bit of a discussion about what we think is the hardest month for you guys, for us. And obviously, the main fixtures we're looking at is obviously, you know, Arsenal, Chelsea, the usual suspects, and maybe how that flows in with Champions League football and the World Cup that comes slap bang in the middle of November and December, which isn't ideal. But before we get into things, we're obviously going to welcome in the SpursRelated balls. Let's quickly run through it. COYS. Arsenal treating a Porto bench warmer like the second coming of Burka. I haven't even seen this, to be honest with you. Someone will have to fill me in. Bobby K saying, big up, lads. Big up, Bobby K. Well done on 300 subs on the free Spurs boys. Do check them out. Big up, lads. Exciting times. Says Welsh Girl. Big up, Bobby K. Come on, you Spurs. Says Amin. Really appreciate you joining, mate. And Toxic Headshots in here saying, hi, guys. I'm buzzing. I'm sure there's going to be more comments coming through. But let's get straight on into things. Straight into the thick of it. Bissouma, he isn't officially a Spurs player. Tottenham haven't announced it. But as per Fabrizio Romano and other Tier 1 sources, Bissouma did his medical at Tottenham Hotspur, at Hotspur Way today, at the training ground. And he is a Tottenham player unless something horrifically goes wrong. 29 million euros plus add-ons, which is about 25 million pounds plus add-ons. But I'll let Andre get into the finer details of this deal.
Right. So, as James has said, the medical's been completed, and it looks like they're just trying to get this over the line quick. They don't want any single club coming in and swooping in for him. And this is the way to go. Honestly, this is the only way we're really going to get the players we want and get them for cheap. Early bird catches the worm, right? So instead of waiting till the end of the month or the end of the transfer window to get some players, we've been doing it before the window even opened. I'm sure they already talked to him even before the window opened and said, you know what? Come the window, you need to head over to Tottenham. And that's exactly what's been happening. It looks like he's excited to come, and he's going to be a boss in that midfield. He's done it against us. Now he'll do it with us.
Exactly. Yeah, every time I play Brian, I'm scared of this guy, and now we don't have to worry about that. The weapon is at our disposal, as they like to say. Well, I've actually heard no one in football say that. But anyway, Iron Army saying Don Paratici probably has a few more deals ready to go, just waiting to trigger them exactly. Kuva99, get up. Kuva, it's been a while. How you doing well, mate? This is big up, lads. Bissouma to Spurs. Salt to the scum. And Kev saying, big up, lads. Loving this channel as always. What a signing when it gets confirmed. Pound for pound, this has to be the best signing of the window, period. Well done, Spurs. Firstly, Kev, really appreciate the kind words about the channel, mate. We are so close to 1K, and we really appreciate all the support. And we just love doing these kind of videos for you guys. So thank you very much. And like you said, best signing pound for pound. I would have to agree. Jack, what do you think of this comment?
I totally agree. I think wise words from Kev. I think it's a signing of the window so far. And of course, I really appreciate the nice comments. Shows we're doing good things, and it's only going to continue. So if your friends, family haven't subscribed, get them in on it. And yeah, let's make that final push to 1K. But totally agree. I think Bissouma, fantastic player. So excited. I've said so many times on this channel that I think he's a must-sign player. Someone who's going to really revolutionise our midfield for the better. And yeah, I think it's going to be the first of many smart signings by Paratici.
Yeah, absolutely love it. And I mean, we've already got 3 over the line. The window's only been open a week. We've got Perisic, Fraser Forster, Bissouma, potentially Jed Spence on the way. and other ones talked about. Apparently, Conte wants 6 to 8 players. I can see that happening. I mean, we've already signed 4 nearly. It's just incredible. We signed 3 for sure. Glory, Tottenham Hotspur. Big up, mate. Thanks for joining. He says Bissouma will fit perfectly into our midfield alongside Bentancur. Love your content. Really appreciate that, mate. And I agree. We're going to maybe discuss in a separate video later on in the week about who our ideal starting 11 would be. Who's going to be that 2-man midfield? Is it going to be a 3-man midfield? There's all the questions. You will hear it first on our opinions. And of course, we want to get your insight as well. But, Andre, any more details about Bissouma? Maybe let's hear about what you think about him. I know you said you're happy to have him at Spurs and not, have to worry about Brighton. But how do you think he will fit in? Do you think he'll fit in alongside Bentancur?
Well, firstly, I think Kev said it exactly the way I said it in the last podcast, which is pound for pound, this is a very, very good signing. Probably one of the best we've had in a while. Just for 29 million. This guy, we were talking about 50 million for him. We have struck a deal, and it is a cut price deal, and I love it for that. I personally think he's going to be great, whether he's coming in as a sub or whether he's starting. I think he knows that what Conte likes is having a team that can be rotated without any quality change at all. So I think he's going to fit in like a puzzle piece. And I think that there should be no problem in terms of the game time either. Whether he starts out first on the bench, which I would assume that would be the case. I think Bentancur and Højbjerg have earned their spot. I think it's up to Bissouma to show that he should be playing week in, week out, whether it's starting or on the bench, and show Conte that he can be trusted so that sometimes our midfield can rest. And when the players can rest, there's less of a chance that players will get injured due to playing too much and then having muscle injuries and things like that. So honestly, building this squad, you have to bring players that are up to that same quality. And at the end of the day, when a player can see the project that's being made, they're going to want to come to the club anyways. So 10 out of 10 for me. This is one of the best signings I've seen in a while.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. And like you said, fits in like a puzzle piece. I like that saying, Andre. I like that. It's another one of your little kind of metaphors, I guess. But Kuva's saying, great channel you have, by the way, lads. Thanks, Kuva. The only complaint would be too much hair and not enough beards. Otherwise, you nail it. Kuva, honestly, we need to find some kind of middle ground with you. Obviously, you've got the beard, but maybe not the hair. So maybe we'll do a little bit of a trade. How about that? And Welsh Gale saying, yeah. Absolutely love it around here. But listen, we've said obviously a lot about Bissouma in previous episodes. We all know how highly we rate him as a signing. I think this is amazing. 25 million. Imagine selling Harry Winks for 20 million and getting Bissouma for 25. That is the best bit of business since maybe selling Coutinho and getting in Van Dijk and Alisson. I think it's up there if we manage to sell Winks for 20 mil, because obviously you got that English tax that, I mean, you say English tax, Harry Winks isn't worth 3 mil, so I don't know how we're going to get 20 mil. But there we go. Anyway, that's a side story. Let's not slander Winks too much. It would just be nice to see the back of him, and Newcastle or Southampton or whoever it's going to be. Please do enjoy this absolutely stunning world-class footballer. But anyway, enough about Bissouma, enough about Harry Winks. Andre, obviously the big announcement today was about the fixtures. We were all dying to hear who we were going to get first game, and it's Southampton at home. A nice one to start off with. Home fixture. I'm very happy about this. Andre, do you want to quickly run us through maybe the main sort of fixtures, maybe starting with August, but obviously everyone looks to where when we're playing Arsenal. I certainly did straight away. But do you want to tell us a little bit about the fixtures today?
Sure. So I think the best way to run about it, let's go by it month for month. Let's see what the Spurs relatables think. Because also we've sort of picked what we believe will be the hardest month. And amazingly enough, all three of us have our own month that we think is going to be difficult. So that's going to definitely spark some debate. But we want to hear what you guys think. But August overall, yeah, Southampton. Let's start out strong, guys. Right? We should be winning this one. Chelsea's the next one. We'll see if they'll even be playing Lukaku in that by the time that that match comes in, because I know that Lukaku's being linked to Inter going back there. So we'll see what happens. We got Wolves afterwards. We tend to be a hit or miss with them. Nottingham Forest will be an interesting one for sure, recently promoted. And, you know, a special place in my heart because a Canadian player is in that team, Richie Larea, who came from the team Toronto FC, which is my favorite team here up in Canada. And West Ham to finish off that month. Overall, we shouldn't have any problems. I think the only ones that would be, I guess, maybe taking some points off would be Chelsea. But, you know, based upon the way this window's going, I could see us possibly getting points for all of these.
Yeah. If I went through this, I'd say Southampton win. Chelsea, we never win at Stamford Bridge. Or certainly not often. It's like twice in like 30 years. It's ridiculous. I would say maybe a draw based on our team at the moment. Wolves at home should be a win, but then again, we lost to them last season. A bit of a bogey team. Forest away, you'd like to think we can win, but it's a really tough place to go, Forest. They're on fire. They're going to sign players. They haven't got Jetty Spence, hopefully, but, you know, they're a good team. They went up for a reason under Crumbs. I've forgotten his name. Help me out, Jack.
So
Forest manager. How have I forgotten? With Steve Cooper. There you go. Came to me at the end. And then West Ham away. Obviously, always a grudge match, but we normally do beat West Ham. I don't think this is the hardest start, but I also think it's not ideal playing Chelsea's second game.
It's a tricky month, I think, to open up the season. I would definitely argue
Yeah.
But then again, in the Premier League, it's probably tricky for everyone. Everyone's just got their new side. Like they've got to build their squad. So I believe that we beat Man City on the opening day of the season. If that was a couple months into the season, there was a good chance we could have lost that game. So sometimes it benefits as well. Having Chelsea early on might not be such a bad thing with that new I think it's going to be a really positive start to the season because everyone's going to be so happy with the transfer business. Let's hope, as long as things keep rolling like they are currently, I think we're going to have a really good atmosphere at home. And if we can get a good result on the first day, Tottenham fans are going to be massively up for it and probably sending fear into that Chelsea side.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly that. Especially if we smash Southampton, maybe 3 or 4-0. And then Chelsea, I'm not too sure who they've got first, but maybe they might have a rocky start. Who knows? It's really good points there, Jack. Andre, what do you think about this month? Do you think it's maybe out of 10? How difficult do you think it is?
I think it's slightly mid. I don't think it's the worst month, but I don't think it's the best month either. We obviously have a couple hard fixtures in there, and at the end of the day, you shouldn't be underestimating any of these teams. You see what happens sometimes, the upsets just out of nowhere. Look at Norwich. They always seem to upset teams, and then even though they still get relegated, but... So let's not sleep on any of these teams, and let's just get out there, take it one game at a time, try and get 3 points on each one. But I do agree with you. I do believe Chelsea will be the one where we might possibly drop some points, maybe get a draw, just because it's at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, well, I mean, Coover thinks Chelsea will be there for the taking this time. The uncertainty with the new ownership and a manager who's lucky to hang on to his job. Do you think? I don't think Tuchel's lucky to be holding on to his job. I think that's a interesting comment from you, Coover, but one you're entitled to. We'll have a Conte with new players and a pre-season. Listen, it just never changes. Spurs and Chelsea, it never changes. I'm sorry. I'm not being pessimistic. Well, I am being pessimistic, actually. I'm being pessimistic, but 2 wins in 30 years is the stat, Jack. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but then if I'm going for the positive side, James, to be honest, I've been to Stamford Bridge and I've put under Mourinho, and I thought, it could change today, but it never really does.
That's what I mean. It's like we're cursed there.
I think a few comments surrounding the club today have said how much he's trying to change the ethos of this club, getting
I agree.
early. Like with Conte at the helm, we are massively different. With Pochettino, he was unbelievable for the club, but we were still kind of inexperienced when it comes to big moments, and he still didn't quite have that presence where he would get he couldn't go to Levy and demand certain things and just say this is how it has to be be done. I think with Conte and Paratici, we feel privileged to have these type of people here, and they really are changing what we've got going on. So I think you never know. If we get this business done early, we get that winning mentality into the squad that we keep talking about, it really could happen. And you never know. I'd love, how big would that be? A real statement win on the second day of the season against Chelsea with our new players. That really would set up for us for the perfect start of the season.
It would be absolutely huge. It would be absolutely huge, especially going into Wolves at home. I'd then say we win that. Forest, I'd say we win that. West Ham, I'd say we're going to win them all if we beat Chelsea, honestly. Yeah, I'm joking. But Ellie's saying just like, because I like James, Andre and Jack, bring us all the fixture news. COYS, absolutely love it, Ellie. Always good to see you. And she just said, I just called my future son-in-law, who's a Chelsea fan, to unfortunately tell him that if they beat us again, he can't marry my daughter. Wow. Wow, incredible. Big SpursRelated are crazy. Welsh Gal saying big up the Queen, Ellie, but then Cooper's also said, don't forget, James, the quad is on. I mean, I've genuinely got mates at Spurs at work that think we're going to win the league. And I'm just like sitting there like, please wind it in a bit. I know you're excited about this transfers. I know it's our best window in years, but you can't just suddenly leapfrog that huge gap Liverpool and City have set. I'm sorry. As much as I'd love us to win the league and I'd be in ecstasy and everything else, let's take it one step at a time. Let's win a trophy before trying to win the Premier League. There's the FA Cup. There's the League Cup. Who knows? We can dream and even talk about the Champions League. But I would like one of those domestic trophies under our belt before we start sniffing about the league.
I've got a quick question, James, and for yourself, Andre. And I think it's a good good question for the chat as well. What do you believe is the hardest competition to win? I take it it'll be at the Champions League and Premier League, but what do you think's harder?
Between the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup?
No, I think he means
Champions League and Premier League.
Champions League.
No, I'd say the Premier League's harder because it's 38 games. Champions League, of course, it's the rest of Europe. But let's not forget England is the best league in the world. Premier League is the best league in the world. And also, you can get quite an easy route. Champions League, you think about it. There's 6 group games. There's then, I think, 4 knockout rounds before the final. So technically, you play... If you win 10, 11 games, which is still very hard, you win the Champions League. Like, you could avoid so many of the big teams.
But then
But the thing is, the Champions League, I personally think, I'm going to say Champions League the hardest, not because it's always the hardest, but because it has the possibility to be the hardest, all depending luck of the draw, right? If you get Andre, right, all the way through.
No, I get that. I get that, but think of the season 2019. We were not the second best team in Europe that year, and apparently we were according to the competition. We avoided playing PSG. We avoided playing Real Madrid. We avoided playing Atletico Madrid when they were better. We avoided playing Bayern Munich. We played such. I'm not going to say easy teams because Ajax were very good. But Ajax were very good. But let's be honest.
I've got an argument, James. Go on. Just quickly, and then you can bounce back at me. So, in our group stage, don't forget we played Barcelona, Inter Milan, and I think it was PSV. Those first 3 games, we had 1 point. We drew another game, we were out, or lost another game, we were out. Okay, we managed to grind results out at Inter Milan, get a win. We managed to get a last-minute winner against PSV, and also a last-minute equaliser at the Nou Camp for Lucas Moura. That got us into the round of 16. In the round of 16, we played German champions at the time who were flying. Okay, they were playing better than Bayern Munich. They were above them in the league, if I remember. We went at Wembley Stadium and won 3-0. We played unbelievable. And then we went to, I think, the Dortmund Stadium and once again stayed strong mentality, and we got the win. I think Harry Kane scored a great goal. Then in the quarterfinal, we played Premier League champions Man City, who were the best team probably in the world at the time, playing fantastic football at the new stadium. We beat them over 2 legs. And then we staged a fantastic comeback, Ajax, who I think they just beat, was it Juventus and maybe PSG? If I remember rightly, they were on fire. They 3-0 up over aggregate with 45 minutes of football to go. We then beat them. So you could argue Spurs on form were one of the second best team in Europe, and we deserve to be there. So I think there's always an argument.
Because here's my argument here. No. I'm going to stop you right there before we get
No, hang on. Look, so you're telling me no. Let me talk, Jack. You're telling me that we beat Manchester City, but were we a better team than Man City that year?
We might not have been a better team than Man City, but
So then we weren't the second best team in Europe.
League.
PSG were a better team than me, but I think they played Bayern Munich or someone like that. Like,
yeah, but then Ajax beat Bayern Munich. It's all swings and roundabouts. Like, yes, I'm not saying Tottenham were the second best team in Europe, but you could argue that it's still a harder competition. I think it's an open debate. I don't think there's probably a right answer. I think it's all down to opinion. But
apparently you're an encyclopedia, chat. There you go. Let's get through a few comments because we're a bit behind. Ignacio is watching on Facebook. Big up, mate. He says Tottenham won't beat Chelsea, nor will Chelsea beat Tottenham. It'll be a draw as both teams won't be in a rhythm when both teams play each other. Fair enough. Really good point. Billy Bailey, big up, mate. Yes, boys, just finished work. Yeah. No better feeling than watching the fellas on live, guys. Appreciate it, mate. Appreciate it. Kuva saying EPL title the hardest. If we play Liverpool and City every week, we'll be invincible in league winners. Wow. Spurs best place finish could be third, depending on who bring in. I agree. And who Chelsea sign. Prem definitely for Welsh guy. I agree. And I'm saying the Premier League as well. We have to be consistent for 38 games. We're building a squad right now, maybe next season, but not now. We can definitely look elsewhere for trophies. Couldn't agree more. Premier League is the hardest. Andre, you're outnumbered here, mate. I'm sorry. You're on 1 foot here. A team Champions League route could be really lucky.
Well, here's what I said. I didn't say that it's always the hardest. I'm just saying based upon what is the possibilities, I say Champions League has the capability of being the hardest one because yes, you have to be consistent. You have 38 games in the Premier League, but the Premier League is much more forgiving than the Champions League. The Champions League, you mess up, it's over. With the Premier League, how many times we went for a full 2 months of win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, and we still came in top 4.
But Andre, you've just said it yourself. Or Jack said it. In the Champions League, we literally played awful in the groups till the last 2 games. So we scraped through the groups, but apparently we're the second best team in Europe. You can't go by that logic and say, oh yeah, you can win, lose in the Premier League and still come fourth. You can't do that and win the league. So we're saying winning the league. We're not saying getting top 4. There's not a top 4 in the Champions League. I'm saying what's harder to win. And the one that is winning is the Premier League because it's 38 games and you can't do win, loss, win, loss. Imagine Man City and Liverpool drop loads of points. They wouldn't. That's why the gap's so big. That's why the gap's so big.
James have also got an argument because when Spurs lost to Leicester, okay, we come third in the 2-horse title race. Spurs on paper with all the stats surrounding it, most goals, least goals conceded, best team to watch in the Premier League, and we still come third. And most people would say on paper we were the best team, but we weren't because we didn't win. So I think there's an argument to both. You've got to get over the line. We speak about Spurs getting over the line. Chelsea, they weren't the best team probably in the world on paper when they won the Champions League, but they still got the job done. So there's
it's easier to win the Champions League. That's what I'm saying.
You say it's easy to win the Champions League, but you still I don't know. It's a really good debate. I think Liverpool were probably just as good as Man City last year, and they didn't win it. They lost out by a point. It swings and rounds. Like you just don't know. I don't know. I think it's a good argument to have. Yeah, I saw it between Jamie Carragher and Micah Richards. They were both going at it, and I think Jamie Carragher said that it was hard to win the Champions League, and Micah Richards said the Premier League. I think it's down to opinion, probably the club you support and what competition they do better in. But I just wanted to see what you lads thought because I think it's a good debate.
So this kind of works then because James is Premier League, I'm Champions League, and then you're neutral. So
I'm neutral.
Let's agree to disagree on that. But you know what? Speaking of Champions League, that's something that actually we have to take into account in the following month, which is in September, which actually
there's no argument. No, I'm sorry. There's no argument. Ellie's saying no argument. Premier's harder, but I've not seen one person in this chat say Champions League.
Well,
but I know he's backing you. He's saying you can honestly see the argument for Champions League. You have more chances to play elite clubs, and one game can cost you the route and mentality.
I love that comment. He comes out with some very knowledgeable stuff. So does everyone in this chat. But I'm going to give him a special shout out, and I'm not lying just because he agrees with my points half the time. Like, shout out, Army. But
you've been getting the appraisals here. Oscar's saying Burford speaking the truth. Bobby K saying wealth of knowledge, and Welsh Girl saying Jackson encyclopedia. So there you go, chat. You got a hat trick of comments there.
Absolute legends.
Look, my answer is just off of the fact that at its hardest point, the UCL could be harder than the Premier League. I'm not saying the UCL is always harder than the Premier League, but depending on your pathway, you could be dealt a really bad hand, and it's like the hardest thing to get to the final, and one mistake costs you. So
yeah, okay.
Anyways, going here to the September fixtures, it's not that many, but we have to take into account that at this point we are in the group stages of the UCL. So Fulham, I think we'd have no problem. Man City and Leicester, well, those are going to be some difficult ones. Although Man City, I don't think we've been doing very well against them these past few years.
Who, Man City?
Yeah.
Oh, we certainly have. But do you think all good things come to an end with Man City? Or do you think we can carry on that run?
Well, Haaland coming in is going to be very interesting to see how he does. If he smacks it from maybe like halfway down the pitch and he somehow still gets it top bins or something. I don't know. I'm personally not very happy he went to Man City. I wanted a Haaland shirt, but I said the only way I wouldn't get it is if he went to City or PSG, and he did. So, oh well.
I don't want to hear you getting Haaland shirt for Liverpool, Andre. If you got a Liverpool shirt, I would honestly, I'd find another co-host.
Oh my god. Well, I guess I just wouldn't tell you.
Get a Liverpool shirt. You can't get a Liverpool shirt. Change subject, quick. Change subject.
Right, so
that's shocking. We'll cut that out.
Add to this is I think a lot of people are underestimating Leicester next year. They had a really poor season last year. They still finished in the top 10, if I'm correct. And I honestly believe that's God. And I think that James's mic is going to be funny, but but I think they're a very underrated side, and I think with Brendan Rodgers, who I believe is still a decent manager, they could be quite good next year. And I think they could be in the competition for Europa League and Champions League. What do you guys think?
I think we've just lost about 50 subs with Andre's comment, but in all seriousness,
Leicester. Hey, you're the one who brought up Liverpool. I just said I would have got. I was just saying I really wanted a Haaland shirt. I didn't want it from Man City or PSG. And then you brought up Liverpool. I never said I wanted a Liverpool shirt.
It's all right, Andre. Andre, I see where you're coming from. Just about.
Just about. Stop being a neutral. But anyway.
It's like, I don't know. Whatever. Let's move on.
Oh, Andre. Anyway. Leicester, I don't agree with you. I don't think they'll be as good next year. I don't think they'll be better next year than they were last year. How can you say that
when the seasons before they finished above us? That they've literally been in the.
They had Jamie Vardy in his prime. Jamie Vardy's getting a bit older now.
Leicester are smart recruiters. I wouldn't be surprised if they find that sign good players.
They used to have Mahrez. Like, he was unbelievable. And since they lost Mahrez, the Mahrez and Vardy partnership is what got them so many points. Okay, yes, even in 2018 or 19 or whenever Mahrez went to City, they still got good points. And this has been their worst season in years, right? But for me, I still honestly believe that Leicester will not be challenging for top 4. Maybe not even top 6. I think there's 6 better teams than us.
They will challenge for top 6.
Not than us, sorry, than them.
And they're always up there.
It depends on who they recruit, because they've really dropped off last season. It's going to take a few signings to bring them.
The amount of injuries they had was absurd. They were extremely unlucky with injuries.
Well, that's also true, but James has a point. Vardy, oh my god. Okay, guys, you can blame James for bringing Liverpool into this, because I never actually said I would buy one.
You said you'd buy a Haaland shirt as long as it wasn't a PSG or City shirt.
Yeah, and then you brought up Liverpool for some reason.
But you're saying you'd buy a Haaland shirt.
I'm sure, you know what? I'm sure you could have talked me out of it at the end of the day, but I really want a Haaland shirt. I just don't want to wear one that has Man City or PSG on it.
Anyway, it's still good. Anyway, sorry, back to the fixtures. Leicester can't defend against the set piece to save their lives, says Welsh Girl. Newcastle and Villa are overtaking Leicester. Exactly, I agree.
That's true. Well, currently, I'm pretty sure. Has Leicester even made any signings right now?
Just now, and Leicester could be in a relegation battle next year. But I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they're competing for Europa League football. I think they're going to be a better outfit than they were this year.
Welcome, Alex. Hope you're doing well, mate. Thanks for joining us. Miles was saying get a Norway Haaland shirt. That could be a good one. Tempest is in here. Big up Tempest. They're saying they are player teasing us. Announce it already. Yeah, good point. Denandra, welcome in, mate. I haven't seen you before. Hope you're well. He says if Tillemans goes, I think they'll be at 8th or 9th. I like it. I want a McFrappe shirt, but unfortunately he didn't leave for Madrid. McFrappe. Killian McFrappe. That's unbelievable. Spurs shirt and pretend your name is Haaland and put it on the back on Jay. There you go. Alessio's in here. Look at him.
Man.
With Vardy on form, they can do well, but if he's injured, they have to strengthen. As Daka is another Bergwijn. Yeah. To be fair, that makes sense. Smashed it in the smaller leagues. Okay.
Next one, shall we have a look?
Yeah, let's have a look at the next one.
Perfect. October. Now, for me, I think this will be one of the hardest months for us, just because, one, we have the North London Derby. We have Man United who away. We have Newcastle who are rebuilding. Every single window, they're going to get better. And we have to think about the Champions League group stages. And we probably have a Carabao Cup match at that one as well. So, to be honest, we're right in the thick of it. We have some big matches, and we have a few that happen to sometimes sort of upset us. Brighton have beaten us before. Everton also at the same time. They pose a hard time for us as well. To me, this is the hardest month for the season, to be honest. Bournemouth might be a nice way to end it off, but it all depends on how we do on these guys. For all you know, we're on a bad run of form, and then Bournemouth kicks our butt as well.
I don't think it's the hardest month, but I do think it's a tricky month. I agree with you on that. I think Newcastle are going to be strong next year, and they're a bit of a bogey team. Man United away, we never seem to do well. Everton at home, well, let's see how they are next season. They might not have their best player, Richarlison. Oh, no, Calvert-Lewin. Brighton away. I'm joking. It feels like the jury's out on Andre today. I'm sorry, Andre. That's enough. Brighton away, always a hard game, but, we've got their best player now. Arsenal away, as Ian Army said, easy first game, but please don't clip me saying that. And Bournemouth away, also been a bit of a bogey team. So I don't think it's an easy month. Latorre Martinez, Tottenham's being linked again. Wow. Hot take, but Newcastle will be the hardest game that month. No, I actually agree, other than the North London Derby, because our brains just go in the North London Derby away. We don't do well at the Emirates. We have, again, a few wins in the last few years, not many. Not us, there'll be plenty of confidence after smashing some Croatian farmers in an elite European league. It's the second elite European league. I had to add to that. Okay, next month.
Perfect. So just quickly, again, at least for me, this is my hardest month just because of all the cups that are in between. But November, right before the World Cup, we got two. We got Liverpool and we got Leeds. Now, with Liverpool, obviously, it's most of the time people just assume it might be a loss, but I think we could scrap a draw, maybe even a win. It's at home. I think we'd want to finish strong right before the World Cup. So I don't know. I think we can get some points. I think we'll get points on both games, whether we finish with 6 points or 4 points. 4 points, you think?
I think it's hard to tell right now, of course, because you don't run a form is so important, the mentality. But Liverpool at home, Leeds at home, I feel like it's going to be winnable games next season. I believe you can clip this now. The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium next season at home is probably going to be in the top 2 home records next season. I honestly believe that. And you can clip it now, and I think we're going to be on fire at home.
I'll be on the big screen. You can clip it.
You can clip it. Put it on the big screen. You can clip it. Whatever you want to do. I honestly believe. Get a couple more signings in. And look, here he is. Clip it now. Tottenham Hotspur are going to have the top 2 best home records in the Premier League next season. I believe that, along with a couple more additions, I really believe that could happen, along with Liverpool and Man City. And I think we'll do better than one of them. Let's see.
There you go. You heard it from Jack Burford himself. There's the clip. Can we do that, guys? Let us know. But a couple more comments, then we'll get to the next month. Eddie saying Bentancur sing. He's the reason we'll be playing on Wednesdays next season. Love it. Crystal Palace got a mad start compared to everyone else. Feel brutal for them. Yeah. Arsenal may beat the Croatian wheat farmers, but they aren't beating the Bosnian dairy farmers. Unfortunately, we don't play Liverpool after Christmas. Hashtag salad. And we can beat anyone at home, says Kev.
We can.
Go on, Andre, next one.
Well, I personally think that it's better that we play Liverpool right before the World Cup, just because we don't know what kind of injuries they're going to get from the World Cup.
Oh, don't say that.
So it kind of works out that the following matches when we get back from the World Cup are Brentford and I would think a much better equipped Aston Villa. But I believe that the Brentford one shouldn't be too difficult, especially with Eriksen, who might actually be heading to another club. And to be honest, before Eriksen showed up there, Brentford were relegation bound almost. And then Eriksen came in and changed the game for them. So we'll see. But overall, this shouldn't be too much of a problem. But Aston Villa's backline's looking a little better with, I believe, Diego Carlos having been signed. So
good addition. I think Aston Villa have been really smart in the opening couple of weeks of the window. I think they've brought in Kamara and Carlos, and to be fair, they always seem like they get good business done. So I wouldn't be surprised if with under Gerrard, we'll have more time to install that mentality in them and get the good players playing well. Don't forget they've just signed Coutinho on a permanent as well. They've got a lot of attacking talent with Buendia, Watkins, Danny Ings still there. I wouldn't be surprised if they're competing around with Leicester and along with Newcastle for the European and maybe an outside chance of Champions League football. Let's see.
No, it's true. And Ayanami's got a good point here. Let's hope our players bring that insane World Cup form back into the league. So let's hope it's more that they're bringing form and not injuries when they come back. I think that Aston Villa have been very smart. Every window, they're slowly picking one good player to bring in every time. Coutinho was an amazing signing for them. Bringing him on loan, changed the game for them, and now having a back line that's getting better and better. And you know what? I can't remember who said that comment when it comes to Leicester. It looks like a couple of these teams are just getting better and they're going to overtake Leicester. And it's not going to be Leicester that's too much of the problem. It'll be more so our Aston Villas and Newcastles who are trying to play catch up and they have the money to do it.
Quickly responding to Simply Ace's comment about Man City and Liverpool, I totally agree. Man City and Liverpool are by far the best two teams currently in the Premier League. However, I do believe Tottenham at the minute, there's not been a team competing with them currently at home. No one's had that bounce. No one's really believed that they can take them on. And I feel like because Tottenham might have that much motivation and enthusiasm to try and prove everyone wrong, I wouldn't be surprised if we really push and have a fantastic home record. I don't think we have the experience to push them till the end at the minute, unless we bring in a couple more world-class additions. But don't forget, that motivation, that Conte effect, with new transfers in required positions, I wouldn't be surprised if we have as good of home record as both of those teams next season. But let's see.
Very good points there. How about we move on to, 2023 now? In January, where I guess it would also depend how these matches here, not too bad. We got another derby here, but it would really just depend how many cups we're still in by the time we get to January. Do we get past the group stages? Are we still in the Carabao Cup? The FA Cup becomes a thing in January as well. So now we'll be in 4 cups. We'll have 4 tournaments that we'll be dealing with possibly in January, and having these 3 matches, having another derby right smack in the middle there. I feel like that Arsenal match is going to be the
3 derbies in a month. 3 London derbies, you could argue.
Sorry, three. Oh yeah. Well, I think Crystal Palace and Fulham shouldn't be too much of a problem, but Arsenal right there in the middle of January will be the difficult one. And I don't know. We could get 3 points out of that just because it's at home. We'll have the drive to do it. But we'll see how many cups we're in by the time we get to January.
Absolutely. Yep, spot on. I would agree. So we don't know how hard this month's going to be really until we get to it, I guess. Eriksen, I have in good faith, he's signing for us within the next week. Wow. Let's see.
I really hope so.
That would be a great acquisition, yeah.
Right. Next month, February. Wow. This is the hardest.
No, this one's for you, eh?
For me, this is the hardest, and I'll tell you guys why. I've obviously seen the other fixtures as well. Man City at home speaks for himself. That is so difficult. Man City at home, they quite often turn us over at our place. And actually, to be fair, in recent years, Can I finish my sentence?
You may.
In recent seasons, they have been very good. Spurs have been very good. The Bergwijn game, the game last season, Son 1-0. So, yes, we've beaten them 2 or 3 times, and we beat them twice in the league last season. But let's be honest, it's City at home. That isn't a guaranteed 3 points, right, Burford?
Yeah, but nothing's a guaranteed 3 points. And if you look at our past record against Man City, we are 100% the hardest
But-
team they have faced because we play to their weaknesses. We play good counter-attacking football. We've got world-class players in that front line that can seriously hurt them. And I honestly believe every time we play them, Pep Guardiola is worried and realises his players has to be spot on for that match because he knows that Conte is going to make sure every single one of those players knows what role they have to do on the day and give everything they can to make sure we get over that line. So don't count that as a loss either. It can go either way. Of course it can.
I understand that, but I'm also saying it's not a guaranteed 3 points. It's Manchester City. They've been
Oh,
champions
100%. Of course it's
three
not. It's
times
the
in the last
hardest
4
team
years.
in the league to play on paper, so of course it's not, Jake.
I
Leicester
think
away.
honestly, this match will really just depend on how Haaland is doing. They're playing with a striker now, a world class striker. It's been about a season and a bit where they haven't had their prime striker. Because let's be honest here, Aguero sort of dropped off a little bit. Now he's moved on, and it's unfortunate he's not playing football anymore. But they've been missing that striker, that world-class striker, and they're going to have him now this season, Haaland. So it really just depends how he's adapting to the Premier League, if he's destroying the league, in which case the Man City game will be very difficult. I will agree, because I'm sorry, I think the way that we lined up against Man City last season, it was against a team that wasn't using a striker. This time we have to line up against a striker who will boss his way through that defense if you don't cover him properly.
Yeah, exactly.
To add to that, Bob Einstein, I actually don't think we've conceded a goal at home at our new stadium against Man City. So that I'm sure will change, but I think there's a good stat for you.
Well, is that true?
Have a look, look it up. I don't think we have.
So that Champions League game, Lloris saved it, didn't he?
Yeah.
2-0 was the Steven Bergwijn game.
2-0 at home.
1-0 for Son.
Yeah, we have
right, Jack.
Yeah,
the encyclopedia comes out again.
There you are.
There we go. Very good. Well, as the graphic would say here, perfectly actually. Let's hope Dyer's up to it, right in the middle there.
Yeah. I wonder if he'll still be a starting centre-back at this time. I'm sure he will be, but there's been a lot of talk that Conte wants 2 centre-halves. And could someone like Koulibaly or Bremer come in and take his place? But let's see.
Yeah, exactly. Similarly, I'm still sure we did a double over Man City, and those wins got us into the Champions League. I know he's saying, wouldn't a false 9 be better for City? But because Ireland is still a raw scorer, I don't see him struggling to fit in. Simply saying, smash the like button and subscribe, people. Really appreciate that. Hopefully, you guys have already smashed the likes. No official news from Bissouma yet. Medical team today from Tottenham. Come on, Tottenham, with that new signing. Yeah, maybe our Friday treat tomorrow. Who knows? It always takes a little bit of time, though. Let's remember. Not good to go into a match against champions with overconfidence like fools. We have to play an absolute coordination and intensity like an army. Completely agree. Right, last couple of months, I guess.
Yeah, so let's head to March. Not too difficult. We got Wolves, Nottingham Forest, Southampton. There's really much to say here. Maybe Wolves will be the only one that'll be sort of the one we really got to focus on. The other two, as long as we keep our heads in gear and focus, we should be fine. And you guys got anything to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's worth mentioning that we don't know how good these new teams are going to be. Forest, like, they might do a Leeds in their first season and come like 10th, 9th. You know, they might be really good, or they might, you know, go straight back down like a Norwich. Who knows? I think time will tell, so it's hard to say. But I think Wolves should beat Southampton. Can't see them improving massively, and then just depends on Forest, really. Suku's here saying we need to sign Martinez, we need to sign Pau Torres. Yeah, absolutely. April.
So how about Jack? You want to take this one?
Yeah. So I've actually argued this as our hardest month. Right. I know some people will disagree with this, and I can totally understand why. But the reason I'm going to go with this, because I believe this is such a pivotal month towards Spurs' end of the season. There is a good chance Spurs are going to be either in a race for top 4, and who knows, if we're dreaming, potentially the Premier League. But hopefully we're going to still be in all the cup competitions, Champions League included. I know that's a long shot, but there's a chance. So we start the month off with Everton away. They will definitely not be as bad as next season, in my opinion. I think they're going to have more of a structure about them. I think they've still got some good players, and I just see them being a better outfit. And to go to Goodison Park the season before, a lot of people would have said that's a really tricky place to go. Brighton at home, still a great outfit. Looks like we've just grabbed their best player, and Cucurella looks like he's off to Man City. Bournemouth at home, in past years, Spurs have been quite strong against them. So I do believe that we should be able to get the 3 points there. But then we've got Newcastle away at St James's Park. If you thought that was good at the business end of this season, imagine it with the new signings they're going to have. Then Man United at home, always a tricky game. Ronaldo will still be there, along with, they've still got world-class players at their disposal. They will definitely be better next season. I have no doubt about that, especially if they had Frenkie de Jong and multiple other players. And then to end, Liverpool away, arguably the hardest fixture out of them all. It's going to be tricky, along with FA Cup games and Champions League fixtures in the middle of that. I can see this being a really tricky month, but an also decisive month where we could push and hopefully grab our first trophy.
You know what? That's very well put. I can't even argue with any of those points, other than the fact that I still think October will be the hardest one, but we'll see. Really just depends on form, depends on how many cups we're still in. And I think usually in April, isn't Carabao Cup done by then, or is that when the final happens?
Carabao Cup final was April. Actually,
April.
sometimes March, isn't it?
First trophy. Who knows?
Okay, yeah.
March, April, isn't it? March or April? Can't remember. I think it's end of
that'll
March.
Yeah, that'll be a difficult one then for sure. We'll be getting to those months now where we got to get it over the line. All that work comes to this. What is the point of getting to all these finals if we don't win them? You know?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Let's see what happens. And then to finally end it off in May, we have 4 matches that actually should not be too difficult. It really will be one of those things where we just have to make sure that April goes well. And then with May, we just have to be consistent at that point. Crystal Palace at home shouldn't be a problem. Brentford at home shouldn't be a problem. Leeds, just make sure we're concentrated. Aston Villa will probably be the most difficult one there, just because of, again, the upgrades that they get every window. Who knows what upgrades they'll get in January, or maybe loans that they'll bring in. As long as we're consistent in May, I don't see much of an issue. It's just how we're doing in April and where we are at the table at that point.
I think Ellen Road last day of the season is going to be a really hard fixture.
That's a tough one, isn't it?
I think that's really hard. Think about their fans. Ellen Road Leeds, last game of the season. Potentially, we could be playing for something big. Champions League is still big, in my opinion. So it's going to be a big game. Think about their fans. Think about the atmosphere. They could be in a relegation battle, or they might have another good season. So let's see.
Well, last games are always difficult, and I really it all depends on what we've done to this point. Have we won any trophies? Have we bottled some trophies? Are we still in the Champions League? What are we playing for in the Premier League? Are we still trying to get into the top 4, or are we fighting for the first place, or are we in third and second and it's a comfortable game where whether we lose or win, it's not the biggest issue and we're mainly playing for pride, right? So all those things will come to a head, and it'll all be, the only reason May would be difficult is what work have we done? What have we done up to this point? What cups are we in? Have we won any trophies? What's our form like? And what have we got to look forward to next? Because if we're still in the Champions League, then, playing this game is important. We want to be in good form, whether we're just in second or third. And, and end the Premier League on a high so we can go to that Champions League semifinal or final in the best form possible.
Talking about Champions League finals. Wow. Simone saying top 4 will go down to the wire and we will be in that race as things stand. Heung-min Son, dad told Son to leave the club and play for world-class team.
I think that's been twisted. He's not world-class yet. That's the quote I saw. I'm sorry, you could have got it right, mate, but I'm just going to say what I saw. Heung-min Son's dad said he doesn't believe his son's world-class yet, and he's happy playing where he is, but he wants the best from his. That's what he came out and said. But you could be right, unless there's been new quotes today. But from what I saw from that interview, he doesn't believe his son's a world-class player as of yet. And I think maybe it's a fair assumption. We all know how good Son could be and is currently, but maybe he's not world-class yet. So I think it's also an interesting debate for Son.
Yeah.
Well, from all the stories you've seen, his dad's always been very much commanding and having high expectations. There's that famous quote about the weak foot. He says there's no such thing as a weak foot, just a foot that hasn't been practiced enough. So, by all means, I'm sure he's thinking, you know what, son, start winning some trophies, and we'll see. But you know what, I have a good feeling about this season, and I think We should not be at any point thinking that we're above any of these trophies. If we just get one trophy in this season, I don't care which one it is. We need one. We need to have that mentality in here that we can win something, get it over the line. So I say we enter we end off this podcast just saying we just got to win one trophy. That's, for me, that'll be a good season. Get the one trophy, show Conte that we can get it over the line, and he'll do something.
Would you be happy with a Carabao Cup win and 5th place?
No, never.
Well, no.
Well, that's the question.
Well, again, I would say that there's expectations that need to be met. I don't expect us to win the Premier League.
Honest truth, I wouldn't even be happy with an FA Cup and a 5th place. Honestly.
What about FA Cup 4th place?
Yeah, respect.
Yeah, that's fine.
Carabao Cup 4th place?
Yeah, that's fine.
Depends how we play. Depends on the competition. Depends how everyone performs. But it's not horrible. I don't think Conte would be happy with that. So why should we be?
Well, it wouldn't. In the, I guess, in the best scenario possible, we win a lot of trophies in one season. But just if we top 4, I didn't even bring it up because that should just be an expectation. Getting a trophy, though, so top 4, let's just assume that that's happening.
If that's offered to me now, oh my word.
Well, I just had to read this. Would you guys take League Cup, 2nd, and Champions League and FA Cup final?
Well, yeah.
That would be incredible.
That would be an amazing season.
I mean, yeah.
It'd be disheartening that we made it to we could have won all 4 trophies and we missed out.
You both talked over each other. I couldn't hear either.
Sorry. Jack, go ahead.
No, my bad. I was saying if that was offered to me, I'll take that over the next 10 years. But anyway.
I think as long as we see progression every season, I have no problem. I think coming in top 4 and winning a trophy is better than last season. So I'd be happy with that.
Cool. All right. Well, got some talking discussion points at the end. Interesting. Maybe whack if you're watching this on the offline video, whack it in the comments. What would you take next season? Would you take any cup and 5th place? Would you demand top 4 as a necessity no matter how many cups? Let us know in the comments. It could bring up a lovely talking point from Jack and Andre. Andre, as always, thanks for all the work on the graphics. Jack, thanks for all the stats and great news and talking points. Chat, Spurs Relatables, you've been amazing as well. Great support all throughout the video. Some of you have been throughout the whole video of nearly an hour, which is incredible. Please do smash a thumbs up, like the video before you leave. Subscribe if you're new. We are 24 subs away from 1,000. It is so close. We just want to get to that mark and then crack on to the next 1,000. We appreciate your support. This channel is nothing without you guys and all the talking points. As always, remember, Bissouma will be announced soon. In Paratici and Conte, we trust. And as always, guys, COYS!
Spurs!